Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Pads Youngblood, hypnotherapist, naturopath, and doctor of divinity. I am also 26 years free of cancer because of better choices. I firmly believe that the Creator helps those that help themselves. Today's show is going to be on trans fat. Now there's two kinds of trans fat. One that is naturally occurring in pomegranates, cabbage, peas, meat, and the milk of all animals. Of course, that means your butter. It's safe because it's natural, okay? The other kind of trans fat is made in a lab. And what they do is they take a good oil, like soybean, and what they do is they mix the molecules all up and they straighten them out. And then you end up with an oil that is more solid and less liquid, kind of like Crisco. The reasons that partially hydrogenated oil and trans fat is used so many times is because it increases the shelf life of products and it's cheap. It also decreases your shelf life. Now, if you are sick and tired of you and your loved ones getting a bad prognosis from your doctor, which is only a fancy word for fortune telling, then start reading your labels. Get off your butt and start doing some research on what you put in your mouth. Now, it's really funny to me that people will say, I got blessed with a car. God gave me a car. And what they do is they put good oils in this car. They research the oil. I mean, you should see people in an auto shop. It's like they're frozen, looking at all the oil, reading every single one, and they usually pick the most expensive one. But then you go into the grocery store and you watch people buying oil for their family, for their children, and they pick the cheapest thing off the shelf and they're zooming out the door. I just don't understand that. So here's my warning. You've got to make better choices in your food. You just cannot think that if you pray over it, it's going to be okay. If that was the case, then your preachers wouldn't be having to have a few moments of the service on Sunday, bringing up John's name and Mary's name and Bill's name and Rebecca's name, because they're sick and they need prayer. Again, the Creator helps those who help themselves. Trans fats are found everywhere. They're in your pizza, they're in your frozen foods, they're in some yogurt, they're in most peanut butter. Okay, read your labels. You're feeding that to your children, okay? In pies and cakes and cookies and candy. The list goes on and on and on and on, etc., 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 etc. You really can't get away from it. Now, trans fat lowers your good cholesterol. It increases your bad cholesterol. And what does that mean? It means that your arteries are getting rigid. It means that they're getting clogged. And when that happens, you're going to be on some of those weird prescription drugs with all those side effects. And I don't think you want to go there. Pay attention to your diet. Trans fat also causes insulin resistance. Some think it even contributes to or causes type 2 diabetes. Trans fat causes all sorts of heart problems. Trans fat causes some allergies, depresses the thyroid, and contributes to cancer and Alzheimer's. Trans fat increases your chances of dementia 4 times. Now, I don't know about you, but I really want to remember who I dated when I was 20, and if they didn't treat me right, I don't want to date them again. Sounds like a plan to me. In short, trans fat are poisons. You cannot sweat them out. You cannot pee them out, okay? They're with you for a while, and just because you decided to give up trans fat and you haven't eaten them for a few days, it's going to take months for them to completely get out of your body. Last but not least, trans fat makes you fat. Now think with me for a minute. If this is your cell, and this is bad trans fat, and you eat some good oils, okay, butter, Smart Balance, coconut oil, etc., etc. Do your research on what's good oils. Okay, they get over here and they try to get past this wall of trans fat. They can't get through it. The body doesn't recognize trans fat. They don't know what to do with it. So here's your cell over here, really wanting some good fat, some good oil, and it's not going to happen. So what happens to the trans fat you eat? They deposit all over your body, your stomach, your buns, your legs, your arms, your chest, your face, everything. Trans fat makes you fat. Now, all of these products here have trans fat in them. Parquet, Move Over Butter, Country Crock. Ah! Buttery taste. I can't believe it's not butter. Tastes like butter. Blue Bonnet. Crisco. Now, some interesting facts about Crisco is it was invented in 1911. William Procter and James Gamble of Procter & Gamble fame were in the candle making business, and they weren't making enough product. Now, in those days, candles were made by animal fat only. Well, they wanted to find a way to make candles cheaper, so they hired a chemist, and after trial and error, he came up with a partially hydrogenated oil to make the candles with. They were loving it, making great profits. Well, then the bottom fell out. Electricity was in people's homes. They didn't need candles. And let me tell you, picture this. You have Procter & Gamble sitting in their living rooms, slinging back some whiskey, smoking some cigars, and they're moaning the fact that they have a whole warehouse of partially hydrogenated oils, and they can't do anything with it. So they're going back and forth, and they're getting drunk, and one of them says to the other, you know, this is really bad. We're going to lose a lot of money. And the other one says, nope, I've been thinking about this. Partially hydrogenated oil looks like lard. Why don't we go ahead and sell it as a food product? Oh my gosh, what a joke. The housewives at the time weren't buying it. So Procter & Gamble came up with a marketing scheme that if they gave a free cookbook out with every can of Crisco that was sold, then maybe people would start buying it. And in the recipe book, in every single recipe, Crisco was needed. Let me tell you, what a great scheme. Crisco was flying off the shelf, and there you have it, and history was made, and those people got very rich. Now, under the FDA regulations in effect in the U.S. today, if a serving contains less than 0.5 grams of trans fat, the content, when declared, shall be expressed as 0. What kind of math is that? If we did that in school, we'd be flunking. Liar, liar, pants on fire is what I say. So suppose a product contains 0.4 grams per serving, and there's 4 serving in a package. And you eat the whole package. Okay, we all get the munchies for whatever reason, okay? Well, you just ate 1.6 grams of trans fat, and you're looking at the package and it says no trans fat. Hint, hint. Read the ingredients on your Girl Scout cookies, okay? And then what I would like to know is if you drink a lot of coffee, how much non-dairy creamer do you use? And in 99% of the non-dairy cream, well, probably 100% of all the non-dairy creamers on the market, they all have partially hydrogenated oils. Read your labels.